So the basic premise is that it's natural to have all these parts and they're all valuable, but trauma or attachment injuries or just growing up in a family where certain emotions weren't acceptable tends to force them out of their naturally valuable states and into roles that can be damaging. And some of them, what originally before you were hurt might be called these lovely young inner children parts, are wonderful. And when they're not hurt, they tend to help us have joy in our life and playfulness and creativity and love and so on. But they're also the most sensitive parts of us. So when they do get hurt or terrified or shamed, when that happens to us, they're the parts of us that get hurt the most. And so they take on what we'll call the burdens of terror and shame and emotional pain. They start carrying those feelings or beliefs. And when that's the case, they have the power to make us feel all that. If they take over, if they get triggered and overwhelm us. And so we kind of naturally have a tendency to try and lock them away in inner basements or abysses and try to never feel that again. And just, at least in the US, this is a very rugged individualist culture where the message is you get hurt, you just pick yourself up and move on. You don't look back, you just let it all go. And in the process, you wind up exiling the parts of you that are still hurt or terrified or shamed or betrayed or rejected. And so they become what we call the exiles, because we have no idea we're doing that. We just think we're moving on from the emotions or sensations from what happened. And when you get a lot of exiles, you feel more delicate and the world seems more dangerous because so many things can trigger those exiles. So another set of parts tries to manage your life. They're forced out of their naturally valuable states to become these inner managers who will try to manage your relationships so no one gets close enough to hurt you, or manage your appearance so that you don't get rejected and you look perfect, or manage your performance so you get a lot of accolades to counter the worthlessness, or try to take care of everybody so that everyone depends on you and likes you, but they don't let you take care of yourself, and so on. I'm just naming a handful of common manager roles. So they often are called the ego. They're the parts of us we're closest to, we identify with the most. They got us this far, and they really are trying to preempt anything that might trigger the exiles, so control the outside world. Also control your body so you don't feel too much. They have the power to numb you or keep you in your head all the time. And they're also just trying to contain these exiles with all their feelings. And a lot of the time they do a great job and we don't feel much, we don't get triggered. But sometimes life breaks through their defenses and triggers the exiles. And when that happens, it's a big emergency because it's like you're overwhelmed and pulled back into those scenes where these parts are stuck in the past, and you feel all that again, and it's hard to function. And so there's another set of parts who immediately go into action to deal with this big emergency and try to either get you higher than the flames or douse them with some substance or distract you until they burn themselves out. And because they're the ones trying to deal with these flames of emotion, we call them firefighters. And in contrast to the managers who try to keep you in control and try to please people, these firefighters don't care. They don't care about the collateral damage they do to your relationships or your body. They just know if they don't get you away, you're going to die, is their thinking usually. And so many of us have firefighters that go to rage or go to dissociation or go to addictions of various kinds and so on. And so, as a systems person, a family therapist, that's what intrigued me, was the network of relationships among these parts as I was entering people's systems and learning about them. And that's the map to that territory that came to me as I did that. And that's held up pretty well as over these 40 years.